Dr. Leyland. Step into the future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars. Level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art. Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll fly. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Whoa! Hello, everybody! How are you guys doing? Welcome to Wednesday. Oh, I know. You guys should know it's already Wednesday. If you see me, that means you're halfway through the week. Anyhow, I'm glad that you guys are here. Happy Wednesday. And I wanted to make sure that we know what's coming up this weekend, okay? This is a celebration of International Women's Day, and this is going to be on Sunday, March 8th, okay? So I have some videos. I'm still getting in some more from my sisters, and I'm hoping that you guys can actually see this one, and we will go from there because we are celebrating women, right? And all of their amazing contributions to everything from giving birth to us to working to everything else in between. So let's see if I can share it. And then we will go from there. Can you guys see it? I know my computer is so big, so this one is coming up that way. So let's see if we can play it, guys.
Here's to the women, bold and strong, lifting each other.
My name is Dindal. Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. May this be a happy and beautiful day for you.
Hello, my name is Noriko Whitfield. Today, we celebrate the strength, wisdom, and resilience of women everywhere. Happy International Women's Day.
Hello, I'm April Wyatt, and I'm sending love out to all the women for International Women's Day. Yes, let's expand this across the globe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Meyer, and in honor of celebrating women's achievements, I'm wishing you all a very happy International Women's Day.
Yes, yes, that is amazing, right? I thought it was really amazing for having all the women. I have more coming tomorrow for our TV show, as well as on Sunday for another TV show. So, I have an exciting news. This is what I'm actually drinking. I've been drinking this for I got it last Friday. So since Saturday, I try to not do coffee as much, but if I don't have coffee, I get migraines, like bad, debilitating to ER migraine trip. But this one, if you see that, that's coffee. It's called rice coffee. Some of you might not know what it is, but they are one of my sponsors, guys. And right now, this one right here is 42%. You get pretty much everything in there. And what I really love about them is that they are only 48% caffeine. It's not the full caffeine that you get, but all the goodness and the yumminess of the mushroom coffee. There's 6 different mushroom. If you see that, it's kind of tiny in there, but 6 different mushrooms for focus, for energy, for also making sure that you have immunity, like all of this stuff that we need is on there. And I have been watching just to make sure. I've been switching to matcha. My daughter got me into matcha. Holy moly, it's expensive. But this rice coffee is actually not giving me the highs and lows and tiredness in between. It keeps it steady. And usually, when you drink too much coffee, your stomach gets really bad. Their creamer is prebiotic, which is good for your stomach. So, which is kind of cool. But I do put some vanilla or lavender on there, and it's so yummy. I'm old, so I liked my coffee hot, but you can definitely drink it cold. So if you go to scan that QR code, and if you want an additional, this one right here is 42%, but I think on their website, the 2 other ones are 25% right now. And then you get the additional 15% if you do Constance Leland 15. All right. And so that is what is happening. And then our magazine, that's Disrupt and Dominate. So I have 2 more slots. And I think I'm just going to close that opportunity this Friday. It will come out this month already. So I'm working hard on getting that magazine, both physical. Remember, we have online and physical. I'm old school. I like to see something in my hands. So that is the reason why I have that as well in there. And then, of course, our anthology for the No Theme anthology, right? Scattered Pages is coming out at the end of this March. There's a lot coming out in this March. And then, of course, next month, our academic publishing is going to be out on Summit. So we're going to actually be on Summit. We're going to present it to you. We have a lot of mental health conversations. There's going to be research backing our conversations. And then we will put it in manuscript in 61 different countries, and including Japan and China. That's the 2 countries that's very hard to push academic books in, but they are going to be included in there. And I'm hoping that it will also be in 6 different languages: German, French, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese, along with English. And you will be so happy. I've already finished mine. Mine's about women and mentorship. You guys know that's my life's mission, right? I have 2 daughters, young ladies. I can't believe they're going to be both adult this year. I cannot believe it. I'm still in shock right now. But anyhow, these are amazing people who are in the academic publishing. And I only do this 2 to 3 years because it's pretty intense when it comes to writing. I'm also giving you the Mike to Millions book that I have. Yes, I did meet the Ozzy Osbournes. They're actually pretty fun family. And that is it. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Brian today. Are you guys ready? Oh, check this out. My sisters are going to probably be like, what are you doing? Check this out. Just 30 seconds. Okay, ready? Reminds me of this.
Woke up with a fire in my soul, dream so big endless desire. Dr. Leyland said, don't you wait. The time is now, go create your fate. Eyes on the prize, I'm locked and steady. When the moment comes, I'll be ready. It's in my head.
I love it. I was like, oh my God. I was doing that like at 2 in the morning. Oh, crazy. We'll have Brian up right now before I get into trouble. Brian, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. He's like, I'm sleepy now. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so welcome to Level Up Craziness. That's for sure. The first thing that I wanted to actually ask you, and I asked this from everybody that's in Level Up, is this question. Think back 20 years ago and find within your timeline some of the significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today.
Yeah, great question. The year was 2008,
Mhm.
and up until that point in my life, I was successful at everything I touched. Tony West Side Story, High School Musicals, president of the National Honor Society, full ride Drexel University for an engineering scholarship through the Navy, and then selected for special operations. And in 2008, I was relieved of command because I lacked belief in myself. I didn't know the difference between terror and fear. I treated everything as if it was terror. And I had sent my chief home, my senior enlisted advisor, while I was deployed in Iraq because his father was dying of cancer. And essentially, I had ended my career in that. And for a long time, the story was I got fired from my dream job. I got paid to jump out of airplanes and at night and do bomb surgery and Secret Service missions all over the world. But what I found over the last 10 years, I got fired from what I thought was my dream job to help people through life's avalanches. So I learned about the power of story and breath and energy and those things. And that single event led me to the work that I do now for others. So that's my 20-year answer for you.
I love it. It's a whirlwind, Brian. I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, grasping it. I know we have a little bit of conversation. I don't usually have I've never had anybody here that I didn't have a conversation first, right?
Mhm.
Because I wanted to make sure that we are trying to level up everyone in the world. There's a lot of people watching us. There's always a lot of team replay watching us. And I want to make sure that the people who are watching us are getting value of the conversation. So you are an amazing person if no one told you yet. I'm sure you get told a lot. Yeah, but I want to know more about what you do and how we can help the community. Let's think back, like, what are some of the things that you've learned, right? You said, okay, I fired from my job because I wanted to do this, but I think there's a guide that you just don't know. That's your like gut feeling, your sixth sense that's telling you, hey, Brian, you have a plan, but actually that's not your life's plan, right? This is
Yeah.
your life's plan. So let's talk about your life's plan and what you do today to help our community.
Yeah. So what I found with the entrepreneurs and leaders that I work with, it's generally never ability and it's never working harder. It's fear. And so fear is really interesting. It hides. And so you may be listening to this, you're like, I don't have a fear problem. Okay. Gotcha. My first place I like starting with, like, what have you been procrastinating for the last couple of weeks, months? That's fear, And so I find that if I can harness fear, it becomes a really potent fuel. I wrote a book called Your Secret Superpower: Tame Fear to Thrive. And it's the number one thing I found with entrepreneurs is, the professionals, they have an emergency plan in place for when fear shows up and all of its minions. It's kind of like the Delta airline pilot that loses the left engine. Zero pilots have to figure out what to do if the left engine goes out. So if we pretend that fear doesn't exist, well, then there's no plan for it. And now I'm trying to create a plan when my reptilian brain has taken over, the amygdala hijack. So I think that's the biggest thing I've learned is what to do about fear. And the answer is not to dismiss it or ignore it, but rather, hey, how can I use it? How can I use it to my advantage? How can I use it to propel breakthroughs?
What are some of the average questions or the average thing? Like sometimes when you're talking to a lot of clients or friends and you talk about, hey, what are you fearful of? Most of the time people don't open up right away, right? They're like, I'm not, what are you talking about? It's funny that we're having this conversation because I was talking to Susanna yesterday about fear as well. There's a lot of fear of judgment, right?
Mhm.
Fear of failing, fear of rejection, um, fear of not being enough, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of those things are entrepreneurs things and business and also personal. How do you find, I wouldn't say like one all be all solution to somebody, but how do you define fear and how do you actually, because to me, you have to define it so that you can tackle it, right?
Sure.
One at a time. So, how do you actually help your clients define their fear?
Well, like I said, it's tricky, and fear hides in the last place that I look. And so, if I look back on my client work, it's different for every person, right? So, for example, take me for example. I don't have a problem jumping out of airplanes at night, but turning the live on is scary for me. So, knowing that there's no like hierarchy of fear, just identifying what it is for that particular person, and it leaves clues. Like the procrastination list is a fun one, or just talking about in the body. And if tightness comes up, and if the breath stops, I know that I'm in fear. So the idea is to be in flow all the time. And if I'm not in flow, I have fear to blame and then investigate, hey, where am I playing small? So I just want to define fear as the internal brakes. Like what keeps me from going on the roof during a thunderstorm? It's fear. What keeps me from jumping onto bigger stages? Also fear, right? So how can I turn the fear into excitement? And under fMRI brain imagery, fear and excitement looks exactly the same. And you guys know what's different about those two scenarios? It's merely the story. I heard this quote about 2 weeks ago. Life comes without meaning. It's waiting for us to assign a meaning to it. So whatever I'm feeling, I get to create a story and either make it work for me or not. That's part of the emergency procedure.
Wow. So, let me ask you this then. What is your biggest fear and how has it influenced your decision in life?
Oh, my biggest fear in life is at the end. I grew up Catholic, and so the post op debrief with Saint Michael or whoever's at the pearly gates. And this phrase, Brian, I gave you so much. Why'd you wait so long to use your gifts? So being prepared for that particular question. St. Peter, that's the one. I knew it would come to me.
You're like, I
My
know.
mom would be proud. Got
Okay.
to get the
Well,
saints right.
all right. I was baptized as a baby Catholic. My grandmother, my dad's Catholic, but I'm born again Christian now, and my mom's Buddhist. So yeah, we get a lot going on in our household when it comes to religion. I'm pretty open to religion. I know who I am. I know who my God is, and I'm not gonna say anything to anyone who believes in it. All I care about is that you're kind to others,
Mm,
because that's important to me. Often I think we judge people because they're different. We judge people
right.
like you're in that age group, you're not supposed to wear makeup and you're not supposed to wear lipstick. You're a professor, you're supposed to be old with glasses on and you can't wear lipstick or makeup or change your hair, right? Like who made up this rule for us to be so rigid? Like I don't think I've ever met anyone, okay, my grandfather maybe, who's as rigid as me when it comes to rules. I was black and white for a long time.
Right.
And my husband's trying to help me with that, like not so black and white. Um, and he's been trying. It's been 22 years I've been married, so it's been there. And my kids, my youngest now is the one who helps me like think things through. And I'm still impatient. You would think I'm a mom, right? And I think they suck the heck out of my patience already. That I'm more impatient now more than ever. I'm like, no,
Ah,
that one, no.
so that's actually really critical, CJ, in
Yeah.
having a framework for that very thing, right? So, um, How can I go about this? So a framework that I like, it's a simple model. So there's, on the one hand, there's love, and on the other hand, there's reactivity, right? And so, stealing your peace, right? That's the example that you just used. What if, that's happening on purpose, right? And let's just play with me for a second in this, and then if as you're listening to this, if I can address your audience in here, the thing that's their your number one trigger, right? So for me, it's when someone doesn't give me the same respect that I give them. Like that drives me bananas, right? So step one, this is something you could model, make your own, make it better. Step one, take a deep breath. It's not personal because what's happening is I'm being tested. This is from the Kabbalah. I'm a big fan of this. There's the creator and there is Satan. Satan is the tempter of being reactionary. So the goal that I have is how can we create more cooperation and more love, right? So if I give someone my peace, there's a great podcast on Diary of a CEO, and the title was "If I'm easily offended, I'm easily manipulated." Right. So how do I take my power back? Okay, cool. So that happens. What a pleasure! What a pleasure that I feel impatient or that I feel triggered because I'm now actually working on being less reactionary and taking more of my power back. And then the final question: why did I make this part of my movie? What's the lesson in it? And so often there's a benefit to it. And then there's a subconscious drama that's happening where when I look at it, the observation of the thing is it's changed. Like, oh, I've been doing that for a long time. And then like laughing at myself, like, why would I do that? And then it's done. So I don't know if that's helpful, but that is one of the procedures that I like using.
Yeah. Actually, okay. I think awareness too, what's
Yeah.
important to you. Awareness is key because sometimes you just go into it because it's so easy, right? And you just lose control a lot. And I think when I start not giving an F,
Yeah.
that's when I more calm
Yeah.
because I don't care. I'm like, okay, that happened, whatever. It's not the
Ah,
end of the life, right? It's not the end of the day. But I think people care too much. It's because of that fear. I like that our foundation is conversation is about fear. It's
it
because
is.
fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. That's always the key, like foundation for me, I think. As like I've been abandoned as a child. So that's my
Mhm.
huge root issue, right?
Yeah.
It's always that fear of not being enough. Fear, it's always been in my head like, oh, if your parents come in here, you will like, in education, right? If you get to be number one, then your parents might come back and see you, right? That's a foundation of how I grew up. And so I've always I when I go into rooms, in the back of my head, I have to be the number one of everybody. And
Right.
I will be damned if I'm not. That's literally how I operate for a long time.
Mhm.
So I think those little mini trigger certain things, but I realize that if I don't give an F, then I'm not so tense.
I like it a lot. Mark Manson wrote a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. I like that. And so there's two models. There is the outside stuff, like not giving an F around other people's stuff. I like that. And then the other one is like the internal, like not believing my own stories. And so if I have the cool story, bro, like we have way more control over how my life pans out. Not the events. I don't have control over that, but I do have control of my reaction. So I'm going to steer the conversation a little away from fear as the topic of conversation. Fear is merely the cue. So fear is the cue for me to pay attention, to dig in. I'm flirting with some danger, perhaps, right? What I really want to talk about is courage and invincibility and love. And so how can I love this too? It feels hard? Good, right? That's Jocko Willick's thing. My thing is like, oh, this thing happened? Thank you. Because short of psychedelics, gratitude is such a magic elixir for everything. I think it might be the antidote to victimhood. So, woe is me, it's happening again, right? If I'm in victim, I can't be part of creation. And so I'm learning and facilitating how to take my power back. And step one is I chose this. Thank you. And now that I've got my head back and I've taken a couple deep breaths, I can start to think again. Because that's what we're getting ready for, the make or break moments in life, right? There's a great scene in Apollo 13. They're taking odds on what's the success of these astronauts going to be. And Gene Kranz, he was 33 years old. He said, with all due respect, gentlemen, I believe this will be our finest hour. And he got to say that because he did the work. He got to say that because he took his power back. And we know how that story ends.
I love that gratitude. I think what I've always mentored my kids and my students is that in the moment of your decision right now, there's two forks. And even Warren Buffett, I met him in person. He only told me, don't complicate your life. There's only two things. It's either you're looking your action for opportunity or basically your weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
There's really nothing else. And Eleanor Roosevelt, right, says no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
That's right.
Right. And you had the power all along, my dear. I love that from Wizard. I think it's Glinda, the Wizard of Oz, said that. And you don't have to wait for someone to give you permission to be powerful.
Oh, this is the thing that I'm like most stoked about this week.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm going to share two things. First, crisis, and then sheepdog versus wolf. So in Mandarin, the caricatures for crisis are the characters for chaos and opportunity. People trained in this can find opportunity when other people are crapping their pants. So who do I want to be? I want to find opportunity when people are losing their minds. And then the other thing is the sheepdog versus wolf. So in experiments, domesticated dogs versus wild wolves, when a dog can't figure out a particular intellectual problem, it will look at the human for a clue. A wolf doesn't do that. The wolf already knows that they're not playing this game, right? And so I see it so often now where people are like waiting for someone to give themselves permission. I was guilty of that for years. And then when I finally like took a look at it, I'm like, why am I doing that? Self-confidence, self-esteem, those things outside of external validation. I was an addict.
Yeah, we still do that. I might not have an addiction for drugs, but I have a shopping addiction. So I'm just gonna be like, oh, breathe. My poor husband. Anyway, I love. I don't know who actually said it. It says the moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you reclaim your power. Right.
I love that.
And confidence is not really like they will like me. I'm gonna have confidence, but confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. It's fine. Doesn't right? And I love that my daughter actually is like that. We have a lot of situations that I always ask her in during the day. When they were young, I actually was very intentional of them helping others. So when they were young, since age 5, I used to ask them, "Hey, honey, how was your day today? Good. Who did you help?"
Ooh.
And then they're like, nobody. Tomorrow, mom, I'll tell you. So every single day until high school, they would like, hey, I helped someone today. Like it's an automatic conversation in the car as soon as I pick them up. And now it's more drama. Like my daughter actually has this conversation. Hope she's not watching this one. I think she's in school, so she's not watching. She's literally asking me, like, why are girls today so easy, like so easily giving themselves to boys just to be popular? I don't get it. Right. And then she's like, why are the boys today like girls, mom? What do you mean? They literally want you to chase them. And she goes, I'm never going to get married. I won't chase nobody. And if he makes me an alternative or makes me feel alternative, gone, bye. And I love that she says that. I don't have to tell you that. And so to me, self-confidence and self-worth is everything. When people say know your worth, then add the tax. What is the tax? I don't know. Let's see. I'm not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. That's what Carl Jung said.
I love
right?
that.
Confidence is not like this is thing. Oh, I'm confident. I don't have confidence on different things, but I'm definitely confident of who I am. You're not gonna shake me. You can try all
Yes.
day, all night. You're not gonna shake me. I'm too old for that.
I
Own your
want-
own story, own your own power. That's one thing I love about this conversation that you're saying. But how do we help others see themselves as who they are? People think, oh, I'm broken. You're not broken. You're perfectly fine. But external forces makes you
if
feel
you,
that you're broken because you're not this. You're not good enough. You're not this. Why? Life is a journey. You don't, my life is in shambles, has nothing to do with you. Stop prescribing what you think is perfectly for me when you should be looking in the mirror and what's perfectly for you.
whoa, we're getting some awesome language tech. So you just said my life is in shambles. It's a story, right? Like this could be the moment where it all turns around. So Henry Ford said, you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. And I love in that when I hear something like that with the folks I get to work with, if you say so, like, what do you mean? Like, if you speak it out loud, there's a good chance that that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm becoming a big fan of I am just one thought and one breath away from heaven. I told a story today back when I was running an insurance brokerage. When I first started, I had 2 agents, and we went to this conference, and it was Charles and Alex and I was like, guys, we need to take a picture. They're like, why? We're the smallest team here. I'm like, no, this is the ground floor. And then that year I won an award for recruiting the most agents in that particular year. But I knew it. So my business wasn't in shambles. We started. And the I think the biggest part of that is just deciding. See, do you know the etymology of the word to decide?
To what?
Decide.
Decide what about it?
Well, like what the word root means. I didn't know this. And so like when I look at the word decide, it has a lot in common with like homicide, suicide, insecticide. So the word decide actually means to kill off an option.
To cut off, yeah.
Cut off, exactly. And so if we're cutting off, giving away my power, giving away my peace due to fear, and I decide I'm going to do something else, that's the second step. Awareness first, then deciding. Now it's like, what do I do instead? And that's where I come in and help folks create their emergency.
So Mike and I actually talk about this. Sun Tzu, Art
yeah.
of War. I grew up with
Yes.
it since I was 5. My great grandfather is in the military, for Chinese military for a while, and so that was our book. That was the only book that we were allowed to read, right? There's a lot of things in there, but I love this one. It says, know your gratitude as you know yourself, and you shall never lack abundance.
Ooh.
A grateful mind is an unconquerable fortress. That is so true. When you're grateful for everything in your life, no matter what it is, even the adversity, because I think adversity is there for you to learn. Some people
Yes.
just decide not to learn, right?
Right.
So that's why it's like a heart filled with gratitude is a warrior's greatest armor. I love that. Brian, I don't know if you know my story, but I almost died 8 times. 8 times.
Wow.
Including cancer.
I didn't know that. I knew the cancer.
Yeah. So for me, it's like you're trying to attack people like me. There's people like me. We don't care. It's because you're just, to me, it's like it's dust. Oh, there's a dust. Oh, wow. Okay. Whatever. I'm still going to be moving on. Right. And the reason for that is because my mission, I know my passion, and that's where I'm heading. And I'll be damned if anyone tries to stop me. I don't care if it's one person I'm changing or 2 people or 200,000. I don't care. By the way, YouTube, thank you for coming in. There's about 746 people watching us live right now. So I guess it's a great conversation. What are your thoughts, Brian, on, let's talk about gratitude and why some people are not.
Can we just go back? Can we go back a second to Art of War?
Sure.
One of my favorite quotes in the Art of War is take care of big things when they are little. And I just want to touch on 2 words, and it's the idea of festering and ruminating. And so I'm finding that feelings are like thoughts. And so if I have a thought come in and I entertain it, like what's a good example? I felt like my time in San Diego came to an end before I was ready to. Right? It was during COVID, those types of things. And I can choose to ruminate that for a long time, But every time I ruminate on that story, that victim story, I'm giving away my power. So this ties in directly to gratitude. How can I be thankful for that? And Grant Cardone, he talks about the billionaires being mercurial. They have to travel. They like going to new cities, a new city every year to learn new things, be uncomfortable, shake up the patterns. So that's a great little protocol. If I am ever feeling afraid, I can either feel fear or I can feel gratitude, and I get to pick one of those. Is there
Pick the
more
better
that
pick the better choice, right? Like seriously.
well, so like Dr. Hawkins, he has a book called Power versus Force. And so I'm sure most of you have seen this, the level of consciousness from 0 to 1,000. A bacteria is 1, and Krishna, Christ, Buddha was at 1,000, right? Fear calibrates, it's like 75. Gratitude is much higher. Gratitude is like 500 on that. And so if I'm taking action from gratitude, I have a lot more power behind it. Where if it's below the courage line, I'm forcing my way through. That's the grinding of teeth. That's the stress, getting stuck. So one of the biggest things I found is that when it's uncomfortable or painful, if I can be grateful for even that, that becomes a superpower.
I have a question that's like gnawing in my head while we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Why do some people ruminate on their feelings of rejection and then go about their life making sure that your life is in shambles? Why do people do that?
What we're doing is we're having a less than 1% conversation. Most people are not trained in this. The default is if I get fired from my job or a project doesn't work out, I have a lot of people to commiserate with. There's a whole sympathy piece of failing or creating drama and then getting support for that drama. And I think the other thing is knowing that there's a choice around not just the feeling, but choosing to become an emotion in that and getting used to that. So for me, it became a drug. Shame became my drug of choice after I was fired. And I had to unwire that. And it took a lot of time. It took plant medicine. It took therapy. It took me becoming a coach and writing a book about this very thing for me to break through those bonds that old. As Napoleon Hill talks about it in Think and Grow Rich and also Outwitting the Devil, the hypnotic thought rhythms. This is why hypnotists are so helpful, because they can help us find the subconscious beliefs and then put a new belief in its place. Otherwise, that subconscious beliefs will steal from us. Carl Jung said, you might think it's, well, they call it fate, but really it's our thoughts that steal from us. That's not the exact quote. I'll have to find that. I don't like being inaccurate in my quotations.
It's all right. I've been digging into this because there's this one particular person. It's like a tick. You got to take the head out to just take the whole thing rather than
Right.
just a body, because it's still stuck in there. And it's like, go away, tick. It's like, step away.
Right.
But I understand there's this called it's called a cognitive bias at play, right?
Yeah.
It's availability heuristic, where if we hear something repeatedly, we assume it must be true. And the people who are so strong to themselves, they don't need to gossip or do the drama thing because we already know who we are. But yet it feels like everyone's on top of you because everyone's engaging in controversial conversation and they're talking about you. But for me, it's like, it's going to die old. It's going to die. But it hasn't. It's been a year. I'm like, dude, just get a life. What's wrong with you? And so it's like, okay, CJ, whatever. I'm way too busy to do that. But it's like, it's still kind of like knowing the why, because I'm that type of person, but I'm never going to know why, right? But I think
knowing why doesn't help.
No, it doesn't, because they don't probably know why, quite honestly.
Yeah. in New Jersey and New York, we had that UAP, right? Those drones that were flying over. And so my coach was like, "Okay, so what do you think that is?" And I told him, and it was not good. Like it was a dark story, and I don't want to speak it out loud because I don't want to speak into any existence. Make up your own story. And he had me answer it. He goes, "How do you feel now?" I'm like, "Worse." Exactly. So trying to answer the why question only makes it worse.
That's so true. I think that sometimes truth isn't always loud, but it's always right.
So there's two definitions of the word truth, right? So there's the universal truth, and then there's relative truth. And so if the game is how do we disrupt being separate, I've got to honor someone's relative truth and see from their perspective. And then if I can address that without being reactionary, if I can do that from love, I have the opportunity for some influence. But if I'm coming from a place of reactivity, that's my own fear, that's my own trigger. Need to have a process for that. If I can't do that, I won't share it. And so I'll give you an example. Over Thanksgiving, I was in Florida, and my hair is longer, and so is my beard than my family's used to. So my little niece is like, "Hey, who's that?" And my priest of a brother goes, "That's Uncle Sasquatch." And the way that he said Uncle Sasquatch, it was not a term of endearment, like this mythical creature that lives in the woods, transtemporal. Like, no, it was not reverence. And so he kept saying it. And I was like, I'm not, especially on Thanksgiving, I'm not going to be reactionary to that. So he called me the next day and he's like, "Hey, man, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "What was up with Uncle Sasquatch?" He goes, "I wanted to fight with you yesterday." "Why?" He's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "How come you didn't fight back?" I'm like, "I couldn't have fought back from a place of love." And I was like, I had the funniest thing though. And I was like, "Hey, call me Uncle Sasquatch again." He's like, "Hey, Uncle Sasquatch." I'm like, "What's up, Uncle Fatso?" And he had put on some weight and we had a nice laugh because he knew I was right, but I couldn't have said it before because I didn't have love in my heart. I was reactionary, you know?
Yeah. I think I'm guilty. I tend to do reactionary most of the time because it's easier than to think and use my brain.
Yeah.
And my emotions, right? It's kind of hard. Hello, you two. Brian, say hello. There's about 836 people
Oh,
here.
hey guys, so nice to see you. Let me get the heart just right. Awesome.
I have my heart flying.
Oh,
Yeah.
CJ, that's such an incredible thing that you just said there in the reactivity. And then
Yeah.
also, so um we just got into a subconscious drama that you have. And so in the Buddhist journey, you mentioned your mom. The person at the start of the Buddhist journey blames the world. The person halfway through their Buddhist journey blames themselves, and the person that has finished their journey knows there's no one to blame. So guilt is such a powerful force word, and the opposite of power. So it's interesting to hear, you know.
I sit here sometimes and I think I told you I have ADHD, so I have like 25 CJs in my head as it goes.
Nice.
And trying to just have one of the 25 work productive work. I do well. But then the other three, it's like, what are you doing? Let's just do something fun. Let's go shopping instead, like, oh my gosh, it's not cool in my head right now. But I think I love the gratitude, and I am definitely I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm
Mm.
thankful that I live. I'm thankful that I've met you through Mike and
Yeah,
Sister
me too.
Susanna. I'm thankful for a lot of things, but I don't know why our brain, that's another thing. That's why I wanted to do into more psychology. Is like, I don't know why our brain is always geared towards the negative, the pessimist. And I think if we live our life more optimistic no matter what, not saying I'm crazy and Lulaland, like, oh my God, nothing hurts me. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if everything that you do, whether it's good or bad, that you're just grateful for, because I have a tendency, okay, because of my experiences, to like, if there's something really good happening in my life, like right at the moment, right, like this moment, this is good, this is happening right
Mhm.
now, right here, we're talking. That's something good in the back of my head. I'm gearing up to, okay, there's something bad happening after this, right? I tend to not live in the moment, so I need to do that
Stop
to live
it.
in the moment, right? And just
Exactly.
be there, yeah. Because the other CJ is saying like, this is good, and after this it's going to be something bad. I'm like, why do I do that? Now my brain is now geared towards that. Like, stop thinking about that. Stop.
Ooh.
Think more about good things. Think more about something that you're productive in. Take the other 15 CJs that's negative and put
So
the
good,
other
CJ.
15 that's good. What do you
So
think, Brian?
let's talk about the pattern interrupt. So I'm going to go back a second. And so ice baths. So I trained with Wim Hof. I learned how to facilitate ice baths. I've probably done 1,200 ice baths at this point. And my inner monologue, 1,198 times, sounds like this. But I don't want to get into the ice bath. It's so cold. Like, I'm in front of clients, and that voice comes up. And there's been times when I share that voice to make fun of it. Like, I'm not going to push it down. And at the same time, I'm going to honor that it's there. And then, it only lasts for 8 seconds or 12 seconds until I take a deep breath. There's nothing better that I have found in the moment, like a reset, like the breath. And so the next level to that, as you're talking about the other 24 CJs, where do you feel the most tension? So if you we'll take a deep breath together. If you're open to that, take a deep breath. Where do you feel it the most?
My heart.
Yeah. So we're going to breathe right into that. So imagine that you have a set of nostrils. Just breathe right into your heart. And if you're playing at home on YouTube, wherever it's the tightest, breathe right into it. And then just sigh it out. Bonus points for shaking it out. Mammals, while stressed.
For me, I dance and I sing. People are like, CJ, what if you can't sing? I'm like, I don't care. At least I had the nerve to sing. What
Right.
about you? Do you have the nerve to sing? I don't care about judgment. Like, I like to have fun. Listen, if I could like bottled up that energy of like, who cares, and I don't give an F, I would, like, seriously. So I'd be driving and I'd be dancing and people are looking at me. I'm like, hey, and I just turn up my thing again. They look at me like, this girl's crazy. I'm like, oh yeah, it's your birthday.
I'm having more fun than you are.
I don't care. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So when I'm stressed, I do grounding work and I do box breathing 4x4, right?
Oh, cool.
And or I walk away and just look up down below. I have an emotional dog. You get to meet her soon. Her name's Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Yeah, her name is Cheerio. She has the most baddest attitude ever, but I love her. So my book, my anthology is actually all about her. So
Nice.
I put pictures in there, and what I've learned is that people who truly love you and care for you, no matter what you do, good or bad, is going to be there for you. So it doesn't really matter what you do. Why are we people pleasing?
It
Why?
comes down to fear, and it comes down to the way the reptilian brain is wired. Because if I'm not accepted by the tribe and I'm cast out, I'm going to die. It's an old program. And so it takes discipline, it takes repetitions, and it takes rewiring the program for a program now that serves us in this more modern age.
Yeah, I love that we have a program now. We are definitely more than halfway through in here, so I'm going to show you guys. This is, if I can find it. Brian, can you walk through us? What is Freedom Sherpa? They can hear you.
Yeah, so Freedom Sherpa was born of my greatest setback. I took notes and I created a process and a method to help people harness fear, and I was the first client. So I have a book called Your Secret Superpower, Tame Fear to Thrive. And then where we practice that every single morning is in the Invincibility Dojo. So on the other side of fear is taking my power back. And so we practice every morning at 9:00. There's a guest pass there for you on my website if you want to come play for 7 days, meet the team, meet our tribe. And yeah, Fear Sherpa came from, I just got sick and tired of watching people have little tiny lives because they couldn't see how fear was stealing from them.
I love that. I love also like reclaiming your mindset, right? Awareness, recognizing where you lost your power so that it's there. One thing I've learned before, English is my what, seventh language, right? So no is a complete sentence, CJ.
Yes.
No is definitely a complete sentence. But we always say but after that, you know, and I had to learn that. I also had to learn that I need to focus more on people who are actually reciprocate the energy rather than take the energy all
Mhm.
the time. That took me a while. That took me a while, but I got there, and it's not the end of life yet because I'm still alive. So I was like, okay, I learned that lesson. Thank you. But what is something that you would like people to know about you in terms of your work and what you can do to help them get out of fear and really live the best life now, today?
Yeah. So I set out to be fearless. And what I've realized since studying this for the last 19 years is that fear doesn't go away. All I can do is change my relationship to it. And left to the default setting, my life was very tiny. And so when I take my power back and I decide what my relationship with fear is going to be, I can now use it in the same way that a sailboat harnesses wind. So um, it's the number one thing I've found in success. The successful legends have a fear response. They practiced it. Amateurs don't. And so it's my contribution to the world is having a breath, having a posture where, fear is my partner. I don't struggle with fear. I spar with it. And over time, after a certain number of sparring sessions, both in jujitsu and other mixed martial arts, after sparring, eventually I learn the tactics. And so the same is true for fear and the limiting beliefs that we have. They're actually the gateways to our greatest successes. That's what I'm finding with myself and also with my clients.
Awesome. Do you have a specific client that you're looking for in terms, or pretty much anybody? Is it business owner? Is it individuals?
Yeah, my work is a bit specialized. So it's somebody that's done a little bit of the work. They've maybe sat with plant medicine, they've done ice baths, listened to Andrew Huberman, have a breath practice, something like that. And they're leading in some way, either leading sales teams, leading businesses, and really, really dialing in that emergency procedure, either as an individual or as a team, so they all can expand together.
Awesome. I don't do ice baths, so I guess I'm out. I'm like, I can't do ice bath. I have done cryo. I
I
was to the
just mean
point
seeking things that are uncomfortable, like the
where, okay,
Masogi. They've done
I
obstacle course races. They're looking for that edge.
okay. I done cryo, and it was for my migraine because I have really bad migraines, emergency business migraines for the last 8 years, and I've gained weight because of my medicine. Took me a long time to kind of accept that. Yes. I have a little bit of vanity in there, but I have to accept that I'm just gonna age gracefully. I mean, 50 is coming around the corner, so I think I'm good. Like, you know what I
I'm
mean? I'm
getting
like,
younger. I'm getting younger every year, and that the cold therapy, whether it's cryo or ice baths, is such a benefit to collagen production and anti-aging.
oh yeah. Oh, you have no
We've had
idea
I've
how.
had clients in the ice baths. Their C-reactive protein, their measurement of inflammation in the body is zero. So,
Yeah, that's one thing that I.
and also the ice bath is really powerful too. And maybe we chat again, understanding dopamine. So if
Mm,
I'm using coffee, if I'm using cocaine, the body makes just as much dopamine in that as it does in an ice bath. The difference is if I earn my dopamine through running, training, obstacle course racing, ice baths, that dopamine continues to rise. And so if I can understand the dopamine cycle through breath, traditional ways and means of making dopamine, I have more of a biochemical advantage in getting stuff done and breaking through.
like start with a
Oh,
bird.
yeah, I like that.
No, you don't understand. I have a scarlet macaw.
Oh,
Yeah, I have three dogs. I have two English bulldogs, a German Shepherd. My German Shepherd actually is a third wolf. That's funny that you said wolf, but
wow.
yeah, her breeder is for Riverside military. police and all that. That's her breeder that they do. But she's amazing. I don't even have to train her. She just goes where I go.
Amazing.
I love German Shepherds. We had 4. My other one passed away, but he was 11. He was my son. I don't have a son. I have daughters.
Mhm.
But Brian, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. And thank you for being you and illuminating our both Hounds of Business and Level Up community. Thank you guys for being here. All 700 of you are still here. Thank you so much.
Right.
Then scale and level up to ice bath.
That's it. I'm gonna have to come out to California for an ice bath.
There is a thing like I've seen it on TikTok shop where you put this little, I don't know what it's called, but you just pull it up and put some water in there. But that's a lot of ice. I guess I would have to go to Walmart and just dump ice in there. I'm an island girl. Are you kidding me right now? No way. I lived in the East Coast for 6 or 7 years. And I told my husband, I'm out. I'm
out.
done. Yeah, I'm not doing ice anymore or snow. But thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you. This is Brian's LinkedIn as well, just to make sure that you guys know where to find him, have a conversation with him. Do you also have a book?
I do. Yeah, it's called Your Secret Superpower, Tame Fear to Thrive. It's on Amazon.
Okay. So if you just do Brian Muka, it will be there?
It will
on
be.
Amazon? Perfect. See, there you go, guys. You are already taken care of. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow on our TV show. And for now, I will have Brian wait for me for a minute. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. And this is our Level Up Academy podcast midweek.
Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work.
Brian, let's see if he can dance. Otherwise, he ain't coming back.
Reach for the skies, transform pain to purpose, find clarity and strive. With Dr. Leland leading, we stand side by side. Collaboration fuels us, together we thrive at Level Up Academy. Your dreams come alive.
Woo! Bye, everybody.